Good morning, children. As you all know that your pre-midterm examination will start from 17 August. So you can see or download your exam timetable from school website. Today I will read the lesson 1.1 and 1.2 because this exam will be in MCQ pattern. So questions can be from anywhere in between the lesson. Therefore, I am going to read the lesson and you have to listen very carefully. Here I will only read the lesson. I will not explain. Okay? So let's start. Lesson 1.1, Keeping Fit. The first wealth is health. He who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything. Be healthy to have hopes and be hopeful to have everything. In order to feel fit, you need strength, stamina, and suppleness. All three are provided by exercise, and to exercise well, you need all three. Exercise is something that should be started gently and built up gradually at a pace which you find comfortable. Exercise builds up our strength by developing our muscles. You don't need to be a bodybuilder to have strong, healthy muscles. Actually, children don't have the right hormones to do bodybuilding exercise. One particularly good form of exercise for children to develop their muscles is swimming. It is because swimming exercises almost all the muscles of our body. However, simply strength is not enough by itself. A fit person must have excellent stamina. Stamina is that quality of the body which enables us to exercise or work for long periods of time without becoming too tired or getting out of breath. The secret of developing stamina is that the more regular exercise you do, the more stamina you develop. By developing your stamina, you can work harder. You can do dogger form of exercise more easily. Running a 1 kilometer race might sound impossible to you, but after exercising for a few months, you will find it incredibly easy. The third ingredient of fitness is suppleness. The more easily you can bend, stretch, or twist your body, the more supple you are. Suppleness can also help you to avoid pain or injury. If you have a supple body, you can at once act and save yourself in case of some danger. Any stretching or bending exercise done properly, of course, will keep you supple. Keeping fit is good not only for the body but for the mind also. If you are physically fit, you will remain mentally more active. You will feel mentally relaxed, never tense. You will always feel fresh and happy too. Furthermore, after you have got used to an exercise routine, you develop confidence in yourself. This feeling of personal worth can help you greatly in whatever you do. Your performance improves in all fields of life, not just in sports. One of the great things about sport is that there are so many different sports to choose from. They can be team games like volleyball or individual activities like swimming. They can be expensive like skiing or cheap like jogging. Jogging is a good form of exercise. It costs nothing but does great good to our heart and brain. This great benefit comes from the increased supply of oxygen to the lungs, brain, and other parts of the body. Jogging keeps the heart and the lungs quite fit. Physical exercise intended to make the heart and lungs stronger, often done with music in classes, are called aerobics. Such exercise can do wonder for our heart, lungs, blood circulation, stamina, and general feeling of well-being. Even that everyday activity, walking, is a great aerobic exercise. Finally, good exercise give us two of life's most essential things. First, a healthy appetite, and second, a good night's sleep. Be active at home, at school, at play, inside or outside, with family or friends. You will have more energy, feel healthier and stronger, and full of confidence. Now, tips to remain active: reduce screen time, find time for gardening, take the dog for a walk, carry the groceries home, join a team at your school, dance to your favorite music, walk, run, or bike instead of getting a ride. Join yoga, hip hop, dance, or aerobic classes. Set physical activity goals with your friends and family. Do something you enjoy. Jog, jump, swim, skate, or whatever you like. Now, benefits: freedom from stress, growth in self confidence, stronger bones and muscles, better performance in studies, increase in mental concentration, better social relations and new friends, improvement in mental as well as physical health, a healthier heart, a sturdier body, and a stronger mind. Here, your lesson 1.1 is finished. Now, I'm going to read lesson 1.2, Monday morning. Now, I'm going to read from starting. Little children often want to stay home from school. We often see little kids with shining morning faces going unwillingly to school. Some of them can be seen crying when they are bundled off in their school rickshaws or vans. It is quite natural because little kids don't want to leave the gossipy lap of their mothers. But some children carry this habit even when they grow older. They always want to stay home from school. They invent all sorts of excuses and lies. Tom was one such boy. He was 8 years old. He lived with Aunt Polly. His little sister, Mary, and his brother Sid also lived with him. The old lady loved the children dearly, but Tom was a little naughty. One Monday morning, he tried some tricks to stay home from school. Here you will read how he failed in all his attempts. Monday morning found Tom Saver miserable. Monday morning always found him so, because it began another week slow, suffering at school. He generally began that day with wishing he had no intervening holiday, since it made the going into captivity and fetters again so much more odious. Tom lay thinking. Presently, it occurred to him that he wished he was sick. Then he could stay home from school. He convinced his sister. No alignment was found, and he investigated again. This time he thought there were colicky symptoms, and he begins to encourage them with considerable hope. But soon they grow feeble and presently died wholly away. Tom reflected further. Suddenly he discovered something. One of his upper front teeth was loose. This was lucky. He was about to begin to groan as a starter, as he called it. But then it occurred to him that if he came into court with that argument, his aunt would pull it out, and that would hurt. So he thought he would hold the tooth in reserve for the present and seek further. Nothing offered for some little time. But then suddenly he remembered he had a sore toe. Very eagerly he drew it from under the sheet and held it up for inspection. He did not know the necessary symptoms, but it seems quite worthwhile to change it. So he fell to growing with considerable speed. But Sid slept on unconscious. Tom groaned louder. He fancied he was really feeling pain in the toe. No result from Sid. Tom was panting with his exertion by this time. He took a rest and then swelled himself up and fetched a succession of miserable groans. Sid snored on. Tom was aggravated. He said, "Sit, sit," and so came. This course worked well, and Tom began to groan again. Sid yawned, stretched, then brought himself up on his elbow with a snort, and began to stare at Tom. Tom went on groaning. "Tom, say Tom." No response. "Here, Tom, Tom, what is the matter, Tom?" Tom moaned out. "Oh, don't sit, don't joggle me." "Why, what's the matter, Tom? I must call Auntie." "No, never mind. It will be over by and by, maybe. Don't call anybody." "But I must. Don't groan so. Tom, it's awful. How long have you been this way?" "Hours. Ouch. Oh, don't stay so. Sid, you will kill me." "Tom, why didn't you wake me sooner?" "Oh, Tom, don't. It makes me flesh crawl to hear you." "Tom, what is the matter?" "I forgive you everything, Sid. Everything you have ever done to me when I am gone." "Oh, Tom, you aren't dying, are you?" "Don't, Tom. I forgive everybody." "Sid, tell I'm so." "Sid and Sid. You give my cat with one eye to the girl with golden hair and tell her." But Sid had snatched his clothes and gone. Tom was now suffering in reality. So handsomely was his imagination working, and his groan had gathered quite a genuine tone. Sid flew downstairs and said, "Oh, Aunt Polly, come. Tom's dying." "Dying? Yes, Auntie. Don't wait. Come quick." "Rubbish. I don't believe it." But she fled upstairs nevertheless, with Sid and Mary at her heels. Her face grew white and her lips trembled. When she reached the bedside, she gasped out, "You, Tom, Tom, what's the matter with you?" "Oh, Auntie, I am." "What's the matter with you? What is the matter with you, child?" "Oh, Auntie, my sore toe mortified." The old lady sank down into a chair and laughed a little, then cried a little, then did both together. This restored her, and she said, "Tom, what a turn you gave me. Now you shut up that nonsense and climb out of this." The groans ceased and the pain vanished from the toe. The boy felt a little foolish, and he said, "Aunt Polly, it seems mortified, and it hurt so much that I never minded my tooth at all." "Your tooth, indeed. What's the matter with your tooth?" "One of them loose, and it ached perfectly awful." There, there, now don't begin that groaning again. Open your mouth well. Your tooth is loose, but you are not going to die about that. Mary, get me a silk thread and a chunk of fire out of the kitchen." "Oh, please, Auntie, don't pull it out," said Tom. "It doesn't hurt any more. Please don't, Auntie. I don't want to stay home from school." "Oh, you don't. So all this row was because you thought you would get to stay home from school and go fishing." "Tom, Tom, I love you so, and you seems to try every way you can to break my old heart with your autogenius." By this time, the dental instruments were ready. The old lady made one end of the silk thread fast to Tom's tooth with a loop and tied the other to the bedpost. Then she seized a chunk of fire and suddenly thrust it almost into the boy's face. The tooth hung dangling by the bedpost now. But all trials bring their compensation. As Tom wended to school after breakfast, he was the envy of every boy he met because the gap in his upper row of teeth enabled him to expurgate in a new and admirable way. He gathered quite a following of lads interested in the exhibition. There was one who felt jealous of Tom's new glory and said that it wasn't anything to spit like Tom Sawyer. Sour grapes, said another one. Here, now lesson 1.2 is finished. Okay, so children, you have to listen this video very carefully because questions can be in between the lesson. On Friday videos, I will send 1.3 and 1.4 video of reading, so that you have to study very well. And on Saturday, I will send one more practice paper, so you have to attend that also. Now I'm going to end this video.